Hello friends, a warm welcome. Welcome back to our 10th online study series. It is the second video of the lesson Chemical Reactions and Equations from Science first part. In the previous video, we have studied about the chemical reactions. Now, here we will study about the chemical equations and rules or conventions to write a chemical equation. So, let us begin. Here we have to perform an activity. What we have to do? We are adding some zinc powder in an aqueous solution of copper sulfate. What we have taken? We have taken a bit of zinc dust and we are adding it in the aqueous solution of copper sulfate. Now this whole activity, it can be written as, you can see here the first point, aqueous solution of copper sulfate plus zinc dust, arrow, aqueous solution of zinc sulfate plus copper. Here the total activity, it is simply written in the form of words in condensed form. This simple way of representing a chemical reaction in words, it is called as word equation. This word equation, it can be written in more conventional method. If instead of writing words or the chemical names, if we use the chemical formulas here for each chemical, the equation will get more condensed. As you can see it here, the equation can be written as CuSO4 plus Zn. It gives ZnSO4 plus Cu. This type of representation, it is called as chemical equation. That is, the representation of a chemical reaction in a condensed form using chemical formulae, it is called as chemical equation. Let us define it again. The representation of a chemical reaction in a condensed form using chemical formulae is called as chemical equation. Let us take another example of chemical equation. So, the reaction is burning of magnesium ribbon in air. When the magnesium ribbon, it is burnt in the air, we get magnesium oxide. This chemical reaction or this chemical change, it can be written in the word form or in the word equation form as magnesium plus oxygen, it gives magnesium oxide. The more condensed form, that is the form of chemical equation, will be as 2Mg plus O2, it gives magnesium oxides 2 molecules. Here we got 2 molecules of magnesium oxide. Now from all this discussion, I hope you all have understood what a chemical equation is, right? Okay, very good. But excuse me, have you taken your notebooks along with you to take your notes? I think yes. But if not, please take your notebooks to note some important points which you can see here for your further studies. Now, let us move on to study how a chemical reaction is written. Now, about writing a chemical equation. To study this, again we have taken the same equation, that is copper sulfate plus zinc, it gives zinc sulfate plus copper. Now, here in the chemical reaction, copper sulfate and zinc, these are the two substances which are directly participating, and hence these are said to be reactants. Reactants are written on the left side of the equation. Okay, reactants are always written on the left hand side of the equation, while zinc sulfate and copper, these are the products which are formed in the chemical reaction. These products are always written on the right hand side of the equation. Now you can see an arrow in between the reactants and products. This arrow shows us the direction of chemical change, that is from reactant to product. Got it? I will repeat. a reactants on the left, product on the right hand of the equation, and an arrow showing the direction of the chemical change. Now, the second point, it is regarding the linking of reactants or products if they are 2 or more than 2. Here we can see that there are two reactants, copper sulfate and zinc. So, to join them, to link them, we have used a plus sign, that is CuSO4 plus zinc. Also, in the same way, for the product side, also we have taken the symbol of plus, that is ZnSO4 plus Cu. Now, to make our chemical equation more informative, we have to show the physical states of reactants and products at the base of those reactants and product. Just we have to do is that we have to symbolize aqueous, gaseous, solid, liquid, whatever state it is at the base of the reactant. For example, here we have taken the solution of copper sulfate and here we have mentioned it as aqueous, that is AQ. We have taken the zinc powder, it is in solid form, so we have mentioned S there. Okay. Now, if it is about the product side, if gaseous substances are released, then we have to show an upward arrow for that product, as well as if solid or any precipitate is formed, it is shown by a downward facing arrow. The upward arrow and downward arrow, the symbols are seen here in the first statement. Okay. Now, the next point, it is regarding the heat absorption or release of the heat. Any chemical reaction, any chemical change, it either absorbs heat energy or heat energy is released. Whatever is the case, we have to mention the heat. If heat is absorbed, we mention that triangle, the symbol you can see it here. So, the symbol is used on the arrow to show the heat absorption by chemical reaction. Okay, and if heat is released out, if heat is given out, then heat is shown in the product side. It is linked with plus, that is you can write plus heat or plus triangle, same way. Now, if the chemical reaction requires any necessary conditions to be completed, like temperature, pressure or any catalyst, then it should be mentioned or it should be indicated below or above the arrow which is showing the direction of chemical change. Here we can see that here the reaction is about conversion of vegetable oil in Vanaspati ghee. The condition necessary, it is 60 degrees temperature. Okay, so we have mentioned it on the or above the arrow. Now, the next last one condition, last one norm, it is regarding the names of a reactant or any special information regarding the reactant or product. For example, if we see the above reaction, vegetable oil, it is converted into Vanaspati ghee. Instead of vegetable oil, if we take their H2SO4 or any acid or base, if it is either used to be concentrated or it should be used as diluted. So, that concentration or that dilute nature should be written down below the chemical equation. Okay. Now, here again we have to try an activity. What we have to do? We can see here it in the diagram. We have to take some sodium chloride solution in a conical flask and silver nitrate solution in a test tube. Now, we have to tie a thread to the test tube and insert it carefully into a conical flask. We have to make sure that the conical flask is airtightly fitted a rubber cork. Now, we have to weigh that conical flask with the help of balance. Okay. Now, we have to tilt the conical flask and mix the solution that is present in the test tube with the solution in the conical flask. And again we have to weigh the conical flask. Means we have to carry out a reaction in between silver nitrate and sodium chloride inside a conical flask. Before the carrying out a reaction, we have to weigh the conical flask, and after reacting also we have to weigh the conical flask. What we have to observe, or what we can observe? So the observations are like this. The reaction is AgNO3, that is silver nitrate, plus sodium chloride, that is NaCl. It gives NaNO3, that is sodium nitrate plus silver chloride. The physical states are mentioned there, as well as we can observe the white precipitate of silver chloride. So the downward arrow, as I last told, the downward arrow precipitate is formed and hence downward arrow is given there. Next observation, it is white precipitate is observed. And about the weighing, the last observation, it is regarding the weight of conical flask before the chemical reaction and weight of the conical flask after the reaction. There is no any change in the weight of the conical flask. From all of these observations, what we can conclude? The conclusions are, obviously, whenever any chemical change or reaction takes place, the reactants are converted into products. Here the mass is conserved, the atoms are conserved, the properties of reactants and products are different. Whenever any chemical change takes place, the properties of the reactants and properties of the products, they are totally different from each other. And the last point is, energy is either absorbed or released. Means either to carry out the reaction, energy is necessary, or during the chemical reaction, energy is released. Okay. Now from all of this we can say that mass and atoms are conserved. So if the mass and number of atoms are conserved, while writing a chemical equation, we should also balance a chemical equation when we write it. So as the mass and number of atoms are conserved, the chemical equation should be balanced properly. Okay. I think all the points which we have studied till now, hope you all got the points. And about the balancing of a chemical equation, we will see it in our next video. Thank you.